Hi everyone, I'm Amitesh at GetStartSQL, and in this tutorial you will learn about table variable. We'll see how to create a table variable, what is its scope and how we use this. We will discuss everything in detail, so let's start and stay tuned. Well, so very first we will understand what is table variable. Table variable is a local variable of data type table. Like other variables, integer, varchar, date, table is also a data type using which we can declare a table type of variable. It declares and exists within a programming block. So if we run set of commands as a single block, then it creates within it and remain available until the block get completed. It can hold a data set of containing different data types. Like in table we could have different columns of different data types. So in the table variable also we can have a set of rows with different values like integer, varchar and so on. Now let's see what is the syntax of table variable. So we can define a table variable using declare statement, then @ my table variable name and then data type table. Then open a bracket and list the column names with their data types and then close the bracket. When we declare a variable, this takes place in the tempDB. tempDB is a system database where the table variable get created and we work on this, and finally once the block is completed, then table variable vanished automatically. Now let's see practically how we work with this table variable. As we have seen that syntax of table variable, so first we use a declare statement, then my table variable name, in this case @my table underscore var is my table variable name, and then I have provided a table data type, open the bracket, and there the columns are listed. Like I want to take two columns in this table, so ID and name. ID has integer data type and name is varchar. So this is the table declaration part. Then I will insert some value like normally as I insert in any table. So insert into table variable name, then list of columns as I have only two columns, so ID and name, and then I will pass some dummy values like 1 and 2 for the ID column and AB for the name column, and then I will query this table variable. Now I will run this and you can see the table is reflecting here. Now you will notice one thing, that I executed that all scripts in one go. As I said, the table variable remain available for a single execution only. So in a same execution I am declaring, inserting and selecting the table. Okay, but if I separately call this table, you will find there is nothing. So it says must declare the table variable and table variable name. It means table variable is no more exist now. So if I run a block, then only it declares, then only it created using declare statement, and within a same block I can insert and query this. Now there are some key points that we should understand about the table variable. That table variable does not participate in transactions. Here's the example. So first we need to understand what is transaction. In a database, the transaction is a sequence of operation performed on the database as a single unit of work. The effect of all SQL statement within a transaction either should be committed or rolled back. It means within a transaction we can have n number of statements like insert, update, delete, create and anything, but a transaction completed only once, all the statement within the transaction either get committed or rolled back. So we will see how transaction does not impact table variables. Here I have created a T-SQL block, and within this block I am initiating one transaction as begin trans A. Okay, and then once I started the transaction, I declare a table here, insert some value and then query this table. After that, querying this table, I roll back my transaction what I created here. So it means the table variable that I declared and inserted value should be rolled back, and now there should not be any table after the rollback. But after a rollback, when I again query the table, I can easily see this. It says that rollback has no impact on my table variable. Let me show you here. If I execute this, you can see first the table get declared, then we inserted 2 rows, and then we selected the table. So this is my first select statement, and when I roll back, nothing impacted. It means not the table declaration get rolled back, and after a rollback, when I again select my table, then I can see my table. Okay, so that clears that transaction does not impact my table variable. Also, there is a very big misconception that table variable get created in tempdb, but as I have shown in my slide, that table variable never get created on memory but in tempdb database. So tempdb is a system database where this memory get created. So this is my tempdb system database, as you can see, and whenever I declare a table variable, it always get created here. So let me come to the first example, and if I declare, insert and select a table within the block, the table would create in a tempdb, and once the block execution completed, the table automatically be vanished. But it happens very frequently within fraction of seconds, so I cannot refresh this tempdb and can show you that the tempdb is created here. So I will do it another way. Select the system database of the tempdb, and we can see that the table variable is available within the block. Here within a block, I will declare a table variable, insert some value, and will query my tempdb system database to check whether any table exists there or not, and then I will select my table variable. So if I run this query, you can see the table variable get declared first, then inserted some value, and then I query my system table of tempdb to check if I have any object there or not. So you can see a system generated name and object ID, a user table get created here. Okay, and these are all other information, system related informations we can see here, and also we can query the table. So this proves that table variable always get created into tempdb. But if I run this in a separate block, let's say after go, the go keyword separate the execution blocks. So I have created 2 blocks. Now no matter if I run all these at the same time, but this section will run first. But for this query, SQL make another round trip, a separate round trip to execute this query. Okay, so both the queries will run separately because the go is separating the blocks. Okay, so if I run this again, okay, this time you can see in the first block, after declaring my table variable, if I query the system table, you can see that system variable is created here, and we can also select the table and its data values. But once that block is completed, in a separate block, if again I query my system tables of tempdb, then there is no object available. So it proves 2 things, that table variable always get created in tempdb and it remain exist within a block only. So once the block is completed, the table variable also get vanished automatically or dropped automatically by SQL. Now let's move to another example. Here in this example, we will see that DDL statement does not work on table variable. It means we cannot perform create, alter, drop or truncate statement on my table variable like normal tables. On normal tables, we can perform all the DDL statement, like once the table is created, we can drop it, we can alter normal table for adding columns or adding constants. But on table variable, DDL statement does not work. We'll see in this example. So I am first declaring my table variable with 2 columns, ID and name, and the table variable name is my table underscore. Then inserting 2 rows, this one and this one, and selecting my table. So it shows that table is created. I can successfully insert and select the table. But after that, if I use a alter command in this table variable to add a new column, or let's say if I want to drop the table, so both that statement will fail. Okay, I will run one by one. First I will show that whether the alter statement work on this or not. Okay, it says something wrong with the syntax. If I double click it, it highlights the alter statement. It means the table variable is not allowed with the alter table. So that is why it is saying incorrect syntax near that variable, which is a table variable. So with alter statement, I cannot use table variable. Okay, and the second statement is near occupation, which is again repeating the same error. So alter statement is not possible. If I comment this line and this time I try to drop the table variable, it fails again and again. It's showing me another syntax error, that incorrect syntax near table variable. That means with drop also we cannot use table variable. Otherwise, if I comment both the lines and run this three blocks only, you can see otherwise my syntax is correct. Okay, declare statement is fine, insert statement is fine, also the select statement is doing good and I can query the table. But neither alter nor drop statement is working with the table variable. If I also truncate the table variable, it will give me again the same error, that incorrect syntax near table variable name. So I also cannot use a table variable with truncate. So we can see any DDL statement. Now if alter table statement does not work with the table variable, then does it mean that we cannot add indexes or constants using the alter command in table variable? This is actually half true. It means using alter statement we cannot modify the table variable structure once it is created. We cannot add columns, we cannot add constants or indexes. But while we are declaring the table variable, that time we can provide indexes or constants on the table variable. Let's see in the next example. Constants and indexes can be defined as part of the table definition. You can see in this example, I am declaring my table again. Here this time the ID, name, education and address, 4 columns are there in this table and every column has some constants. The ID column I am defining this time as a primary key, so it creates a non-cluster index. Obviously we cannot create cluster index in any ways on table variables. Then name column has another constant called unique. That means the value in name column must not be repeated. Education has a check constant which says only masters and bachelors values are provided. No any third value can be inserted into this column. And address has a default constant. So this is my table variable declaration with all the constants and default non-cluster index. Then I will insert a dummy value into it and will query the table variable. So if I run this block, you can see table created well and also I have inserted values into it. Okay, now let's say if I check my constant by putting some dirty values here. Let's say I'm repeating a ID column value here, 1 and 1 again. So if I do this and execute, okay, it says the violation of primary key constant, and this is the constant name, cannot insert duplicate value. So it is clear that ID is a primary column and we cannot put the duplicate value here. Well, if I update it with 2 and repeat the value in name column which has a unique constant, and if I run again this block, you will see again a new error, violation of unique key, which is obviously with the name. So I can update this, and let's say this time I'm playing with education column and put some dummy value again which is not allowed, masters 1 2 3, and if I execute it again, you will see this time insert statement conflict with the check constant, and the check constant we have defined here in education. So this way we can confirm that we can successfully implement the constant on table variable columns and it works well. Okay, and query this time. I hope this is clear now. Now let's move back to the slide to see some key points on the table variable. So practically we have seen this declare statement, and also we check that the table variable always get created into the tempdb system database, and it remain available up to the execution of query block. Now see some key points of the table variable. Like temp table variable creates in tempdb system database and not in memory. Table variable can also be used with the join with other tables, but then we need to give an alias to the table variable. Table variable does not support DDL statements like create, alter, drop, truncate, so that we have seen practically. And table variable is faster than temp table as it does not regards transactions. So that we have also seen that transaction does not impact the table variable, so it is faster than the temporary tables. So this is all about table variables in this tutorial. Hope this video will add some value to your knowledge. If yes, then please like this video. If not, then do let me know in the comments that what else I can improve here and how can I make videos more interactive and more valuable. I'll come soon with more interesting and learning tutorials. Till then, take care, stay blessed. Thank you.